not be afraid to experiment. That's how I look at the not so good films I've done. I saw everyone else doing, and if it didn't work for me, it's okay. I'm not following a template. What are the 10 things that an actress should do? I don't think that's made for me.
Have you generally had a taste for films like this, the hero elevation films?
I did not grow up watching these films, nor did my parents introduce me to these kind of films. So I would say not really. For some reason, if you're single, you're desirable. Fantasize about you. It's ridiculous. Forget married. The minute you're in a relationship, nope, sorry, let's move on to the next single. You can't just simply make a film about no means no. Try and understand where this kind of regressive thinking comes from. I later realized that it was a bit much for audience that it was made of, perhaps.
Hi Shraddha.
Hey Sudhir.
Nice to meet you.
Likewise.
The context for our meeting, of course, and I can't believe we haven't met each other before.
10 years in my career, I haven't met you.
True, right?
Yeah.
And there's a lot of films that I've really had a lot of fun with.
Right.
That I've quite enjoyed, and and we'll talk about a lot of that as well. But the context for this conversation is that your next Netflix film, web series,
Yes.
is up for release
Yep.
tomorrow, if I'm right.
Yours. Oh yeah, it's too.
Yeah,
It's in like 12 hours.
and it's called The Game.
Yeah.
There are 7 episodes, and it deals with a variety of topics, and it's got you as the protagonist, I think I can say.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah.
So, while I was digging into your filmography, one of the first things that struck me is that it's full of all these interesting films.
Right.
Right? And these aren't films that are just content with being safe. Maybe that's the word for it. Be it your debut U-Turn, and from then on I was looking at it and I was like, hey, Jersey definitely is an interesting film. And you've got Krishna and his Leela, which I rather liked in Telugu. And then you've got Mara, Irugapatri, which I really, really liked. I remember having a long conversation with Yuvraj after the release of the film.
Okay.
And even films like Richie, I thought guaranteed you a basic quality about what these films are.
Sure.
Right?
Right.
And I think I've pretty much mentioned all your films.
Yeah, more or less.
So yeah, clearly you have an eye for all these interesting scripts which aren't. So maybe I thought that might be a good place from which to begin this conversation.
Right. Now, U-Turn, I had no part in selecting. I was a newcomer back then. The movie came to me. I auditioned for it. I was coached for it, and I was given it. Right. So it just happened to be that I looked like the character that the director had in mind. I spoke like the character, and in a very some grand cosmic plan, it happened to be the debut. And so I started getting associated with, she's the intelligent man's actor, and so she's like the Pawan Kumar camp, so she's only going to do like interesting, substantial roles, things like that.
As long as stereotypes go, that's not a bad one.
That's not a bad one.
Yeah.
No. I'm glad that was the output of the entire exercise. And but then also, I think it's what you attract. You know what I'm saying? This is a very philosophical subject, but you attract a certain kind of energy, certain kind of people, certain kind of work. And so I think this is what I have attracted in my life. I have also, of course, waded through a lot of mediocre rubbish and said no to a lot of things. And it is conscious effort for me. However hard I try, I can't possibly think of, let me just do this film. It's okay. Let me just do it.
Right.
It's okay if it's at least this is there.
This will bring me these benefits.
Yeah.
This will make sure that my face really goes out there.
Yeah, exactly. And that's a huge benefit, right?
Yeah.
A lot of actors, they have thrived because of the kind of masses that their films have reached and the kind of recognizability they have. It's a huge thing to have as an actor. Producers want to bank you when you have a recognizable face. It's so many like multi-level whatever. But even a film like, let's say, let me talk about Daaku Maharaj,
Maharaj,
right? When my name was announced as being part of the cast, a lot of my the niche fans that I have were like, what is Shraddha doing in a film like this? This is going to be a mass film, so what is Shraddha going to do in a film like this? But I was genuinely happy with the kind of character I got. I thought she had great arc, and she had a very interesting plot twist. And I know that every mass films work because they need to have that kind of emotional connect with the audience. It's the brother-sister sentiment, the mother-son sentiment, and all of that. And in this case, I was curious to see how this brother-sister sentiment would work with the audience, right? So, of course, I did it for the character of Nandini. I did it because it was a Balaya film. Then, I get to be seen by his fans. So I'm not saying that it was a selfless move of just the character.
But that didn't come at the expense of a character.
No, it did not.
Yeah.
It did not. Therefore, I did kind of maintain my integrity.
True.
Which, yeah.
And I like that, you could so easily have become highbrow about the whole thing, right? Instead of saying... And I like that you see the pleasures of being part of this kind of cinema as well.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely. I worry about my performance before every film, before I start working on any film. But before Daaku Maharaj, I was unsure if I could pull it off, because I know the style of acting, the kind of school of acting I belong to, and I know that the meter is very different in films like this. Very, very different. I thought I would be called out for, she's just hamming, in this film. But it was an interesting exercise.
Were you? Did you feel like you were?
No, but I was very aware. I was constantly I had control of the controls.
You did. Okay.
Yeah. So I was quite happy with it. I was genuinely
Did it
happy.
require a lot of adjustment though? In terms of you figuring out, hey, to belong in this kind of a film, I can't be who I usually am.
Correct. It did require a lot of adjustment, and I feel like it's a much more difficult, very stylized and dramatic style of performance. So your beats, your inhalation and exhalation has to be this thing, and if you can get that tear out at the right time, oh my God, the entire set will erupt. Things like that. It's a whole new challenge. It's quite fun.
Would you get a bit more specific for me? How would you? If you had to pick an emotion and say, hey, this is how I would approach it for this film as opposed to something else.
So I'll give you, it was my very first day at work on the sets of Daaku Maharaj, and this is if you have watched the movie, it's where I have been assaulted by my husband, and now my brother, that is Balaya, and he's in a dilemma. Either he saves his people or he saves me. And here I am with my, I'm bleeding and I have my child to protect, and I'm talking to my husband, who's the most evilest person in the room. And so the dialogue deliveries have to be, you need to know, of course there is, most dialogues in a movie like Daaku Maharaj will be, I won't say pro-hero, but upliftment and hyping up the hero. So these movies, they are all about
to elevate the hero.
Yeah, aim to elevate the hero,
Yeah.
right? So even whatever I say will be, so now I'm talking about my Anna. And so one part of the dialogue will be said in the most calm manner, but when the last part of the dialogue mentions the Anna, and I need to really emphasize. And this happened not just during performance, but also during dubbing. So all the emotions and the deliveries around the word Anna had to be really sort of underlined.
Understood.
So things like that.
Yeah. So even if you can't really, in those spaces, you aren't really coming from a place of, hey, would this woman truly say it?
Correct. In this
Yeah.
case, I honestly just gave the reins to our director or co-director, now the sound engineer who was in charge of dubbing, because I feel they know best. Here, I'm not going to think as an actor. I'm going to do what they think works, which also worked for me. It's kind of that you just kind of, leave it and let them handle it.
Have you generally had a taste for films like this, though? The hero elevation films, as a viewer yourself?
I did not grow up watching these films, nor did my parents introduce me to these kind of films. So I would say not really. But after I grew up in the North, so not to say that the North doesn't make these films, but I was very away from South Indian culture. the culture of Karnataka, the film made in Karnataka, or any other South Indian state or language. So when I joined the films, that is in 2015, is when I really started watching like mass films, let's say.
You hadn't been exposed to the Hindi mass cinema before?
No,
Okay.
it's not the preferred. It's
Diet
not
for you?
yeah, it's not as a family. It wasn't
Right.
and so it was a very new thing for me. And when I started watching films post 2015, I started watching them in theaters. My friend took me to first shows in local theaters, in Rohini and places like that. And that's when I said, okay, this is something. It was a culture. I won't say culture shock because it's not like I'm not from India and I don't know this thing exists.
True.
It was very new to experience it.
Do you remember the first experience that really sold it to you?
Linga, yeah.
Right. Okay.
That was my very first
But what I do
experience.
like about all these roles that you've played in the films, right, including Daaku Maharaaj, is that the woman still has scope for being complex. She's not necessarily going from place A to place B to, I mean, in most films, women don't even go from one place to another. They're mostly just
Sure.
static, right?
Right.
And you're not just reduced to only serving the hero's fan base. Right, and that would apply for films like this, but even otherwise, I'm saying.
Yeah, for sure.
And this complexity you're saying comes from people thinking that this is what you would like and this is what they're supposed to approach you with.
I think it goes both ways.
Okay.
Of course, it is mainly my agenda to do interesting work, roles that seem real, roles that seem to serve a purpose, in the universe of the film. But also, I think people view me as this person who would do these roles, and therefore, I remember once a director came to me and he says, "Madam, sorry, நான் முதல்ல சொல்லலை ஆனால் நான் ஒரு ஹீரோ இருப்பாங்கன்னு சொன்னேன் ஆனால் இந்த படத்தில் 2 ஹீரோ இருப்பாங்க." I said, "Oh, அப்படியா சார், யார்?" He says, "ஒன்று ரெண்டாவது நீங்க." And I'm like, okay, so this is how you sell a film to me. So he thought this would work with me.
He did.
And not that particular line, not that particular script, but that's the way I'm viewed, and it's cute. I like
It is, yeah. Good line though.
Right? Yeah, I was impressed. I was.
அந்த குழந்தையே நீங்க தான் அப்படின்னு சொல்ற மாதிரி.
Yeah.
Without maybe naming a film, I mean, we've spoken about all these great choices that you've made in your filmography. But without necessarily naming a film, what would you say you've learned from probably doing the worst film of your career? I can see realization dawning.
I mean, I can see like life flashing by. Not life flashing by, but a few projects flashing by. But I don't get pressured to do a film. There can be pressure saying, no, he himself has said that you should be a part of this film, sort of thing. It's also okay. It's not a cardinal sin to do films that some films are forgotten, films come and go. It's okay. So you got to be kind to yourself. But if it really bothers you from the very beginning that this film is not not you in your element, I mean, I don't get pressured. There's that. The other thing that I've learned is also to not be afraid to experiment. And that's how I look at the not so good films I've done. I look at them as...
Yeah, serves as life advice too,
I
think.
tried. I tried to do something that I saw everyone else doing. And if it didn't work for me, it's okay. So, yeah.
I mean, while we are thinking of Netflix's series, The Game, it opens up a variety of topics for us to have conversations about, I think.
Yeah.
One of it, obviously, is the whole video gaming experience.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
And what's probably the best game that you played and the worst game you've played?
The best game I have played. I feel Road Rash is irreplaceable
Yeah, I
in
heard
my
you
life.
mention
It's
it,
the
yeah.
most fun game. In fact, there would be one road and there would be one valley here. I would just take my bike out into the valley and try to explore what's going on in this green,
I know what you mean,
endless.
yeah. Those
you know what I'm saying?
shortcuts that lead to the path that lead to the racetrack again, right?
No, I would try to go out of the game.
Oh, even
I would be
outside.
like, I don't want to be on the road. I want to see what else is happening in this world. But the world ends at one point.
Unfortunately,
Yeah. So like Road Rash was great. There's a game called Spirited on the Spirit on the phone, which is really fun. I play a lot of word games now. Like
You do?
I'm a Wordle. New York Times app kind of game person. So it's my first thing I do every morning.
Right, okay.
Yeah. I just love puzzles and word games.
You seem like you'd really appreciate open world games then, right? If Road Rash was motivating you to explore the space.
Right. Oh, there's something called open world.
Yeah, open world is games like Red Dead Redemption and GTA and all of these, where you're not confined to one place.
Really?
Where you're free to just go out into the city and figure out things for yourself.
That is so cool. I did not know this exists.
Yeah. Where you can commit crime if you want. And,
Oh, wow.
yeah.
Okay. Thank you for introducing me to something new
I
today.
think one of the worst games I've played, and it's a great game,
Right.
would probably be Pac-Man, I think.
Pac-Man.
Mainly because it really stressed me out.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Right? I don't think that is for me. And that is where I understood I don't want to live life like this.
Right.
You know, there's not a moment of respite or peace.
No, there isn't. You're constantly like, where
Running
to
away
go
from
next?
people,
Yeah.
right?
What else? What are the other fun games I've played?
Do you have a console?
No, I don't.
You don't. Okay.
I don't. I remember playing Mortal Kombat on the PS5, not PS5, Xbox some years ago, and I was overwhelmed by how amazing games look today, but also B, I was on the verge of breaking the console because I was trying every trick in the book to.
I think Mortal Kombat is played best like that only.
Oh, you just gotta like
Just a lot of random button
go
smashing.
Yeah.
Which hopefully results in something useful on screen.
Correct, exactly. Something that helps you survive. But also the characters looked scary and it was quite gory for me. So yeah, I'm like.
I used to have a lot of fun just watching Fatalities, I think. The compilation of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, fatalities.
Fatalities, yeah.
Oh
All
my
those cool
God.
fatalities,
See,
right?
I think that I would like to watch. Like just like 1 minute of.
Yeah, like somebody pulling the moon into somebody's face and breaking it into pieces. And that's
Right.
Yeah. Did any of that experience come in handy for this film at all?
No, not
Any
really.
familiarity?
Not really.
Yeah.
Not really. We weren't really shown playing games as much as, dealing with adult life problems like creating a game. There's a deadline. Your boss is
Correct.
not letting you breathe. Things like that. But generally, I remember Googling up. I remember searching for female game developers across the world, and I came across one. A magazine cover. I think there was a cover page with a bunch of female game developers. So if you were to ask me, so what does a game developer who's a woman really kind of look like? There is no answer. I mean, there's no template, right? We always try to put saying, oh, so she must be like a cool chick. So she wears cool clothes. Probably wears black nail polish or goth you know.
We tend to fetishize such women on some level.
Yeah, you wanna. Yeah. So, but.
I think it's the equivalent of
yeah.
There is a character in the series, right? The guy who's a hacker. And he fits the conventional template of how he's supposed to look, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Slightly on the chubby side of things.
Sure.
Constantly shown to be snacking on something.
Right. And constantly thinking in a technical way, or his room will be dark and things like that.
You go all the way back to Jurassic Park and you still have a guy
exactly,
very similar
a little bit nerdy.
looking, right?
Yeah.
But somehow with women, it's slightly the opposite of it, right? She needs to be slightly sexy to use the...
Yeah, I think to be... Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. I was thinking, because you mentioned that, hey, you deal with corporate dynamics of what it is to develop a game and all that.
Yeah.
One of the earlier conversations in this film is of you and a few other men being introduced to someone else.
Correct.
Right? And they're saying, hey, these men, they do this for a living and whatever. And the moment they come to you, it's like, oh, this pretty woman does this.
The wife of...
and all that, right?
Yeah,
But I thought the importance attributed to the looks of this woman, even though she's apparently leading a team and all that,
correct,
was quite revealing, and you do call them out on it right away. In the film.
Yeah.
And I wondered. That's true. I assume of women in general, and especially of women in films particularly. Right. I see interviews and in award functions, for example.
Right.
People introducing you, oh, he's done this film, and here comes this damsel, this pretty woman,
right.
You know what she's done. I wondered what you generally feel about introductions like that. Does it seem flattering?
This is what do you call it? this is an industry where your face is your value, like your face is your real estate sort of thing. So like narcissism or whatever works, and you're still accepted in the sense that, okay, women take 1.5 hours to get dressed, men take half an hour. Well, that's fine. But I feel like in an industry outside, if that's the only thing that's the first thing that's been spoken about you, and like she's pretty but she also does this work. I think that's a big turn off. And like, I mean, this character Kavya, I just can't stand it. She calls it out immediately, and the first response when you say something like that is, oh, like learn to smile, like loosen up a bit.
Yeah, we were
What's
just
wrong?
giving you a compliment.
We were just
Why
giving you a
being so
compliment. Are you
snarky,
always
right?
like this?
Yeah.
It's that. So that entire scene is actually really fun. Yeah.
So all this currency that's placed on looks, right? Does it, on some level, do you think it starts acting psychologically on oneself as well? I wonder, because do you, on some level, get nightmares of, hey, what if I lose this? Then what happens to me? And I'm assuming it must not be a very pleasant feeling to be reduced to one thing in specific, right?
Yeah.
And that's a result of time mostly too.
To answer your question, I remember when I had newly started out, I wanted to upgrade my wardrobe, right? So I went to the first fast fashion brand I found, which was affordable enough. And I said, I'll buy everything that's like off the runway, like just to be like stylish, and like people should see me and think she's a heroine, even if they don't recognize my face. I realized in 6 months, those clothes will be out of fashion. And you're just going to endlessly keep chasing this, what do you call it? This illusion of being stylish and like trying to keep up appearances, things like that. It was not a nice feeling. I realized that I should just, continue to kind of maintain or like stick to my own classic style of dressing, just be myself, be well presented. But the answer is that people, like women, are afraid to talk about their age. They're even afraid to talk about their relationship status. Because why? Age, you need to be desired. Like if you're you're in the 30s, oh, she's old, like, oh my God, you're looking old, things like that. Or relationship. For some reason, if you're single, you're desirable. I think maybe the audience can still kind of fantasize about you. It's ridiculous. But the minute forget married, the minute you're in a relationship, nope, sorry. Let's move on to the next single girl or boy.
No point thinking about her.
No point thinking about her.
As if
I
you ever
can't
stood
get
a
her
chance in the
now.
first place,
Yeah, exactly. It's honestly the most ridiculous thing. But I think I've realized that just being myself more and not trying to be another person or not following a template when it comes to, is this how what are the 10 things that an actress should do? I don't think that's made for me.
I was watching The Substance recently. I don't know whether you saw the film. The
Demi Moore? Oh
Yeah,
my God.
that film.
Yeah.
And I was really impacted emotionally by the film as well, with all these things that it was talking about, right? Even though I'm not half subjected to the same pressures as...
Yeah.
And I wondered what it might be like for a heroine to, or an actress to watch that film, because it must ring so personal on some level, right?
It did. Because you're so replaceable, even if you believe you're not. There are newer faces, younger faces, coming every day, and every day the audience have a new face to think about or to kind of like go crazy about, right? So like, really, what are you going to put a value on yourself based on what other people think, or are you gonna be in control of that?
Because all the validation, I'm sure, must be very addictive on some level.
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah.
No?
I've spoken to my therapist about it, like, because I feel like nowadays when I go out, like there was a time when I became hyper vigilant. Like I kind of knew when someone was looking at me or when someone was talking about me, and people are not very discreet. Or, like, and they loudly talk about, hey, that actress, hey, that film. And it was not it's still, I don't like that feeling.
You
I feel
don't?
people
Okay.
lack tact. No, the thing is, some things are said or done maliciously, and some things are more like, if they were truly like
If they
whatever.
were truly fascinated,
Yeah.
then it might not register as a negative experience.
Correct,
right?
exactly. I know something like not so nice is also maybe the mind tends to think negatively sometimes. So I mean, I'm still like it's
I'm
work
with
in
you, I get
progress.
it.
Yeah, but yeah,
Yeah. Because this film too is a lot about social media
it
validation and all of
exactly
that
is
as
that.
well.
It exactly is that. Kavya is someone who
I mean, I keep saying the film, sorry. The series.
right, yeah, she is someone who really enjoys using her social media. She's very active. She loves to speak her mind, and because she's in a public space, and also, again, a woman who is like very successful game developer with agency, who has thoughts to say and opinions to speak of. She receives bouquets and brickbats in equal measure. Sometimes the brickbats are whatever more in number, and it's how convoluted her life is. Like it's all technology, internet, social media, and how it kind of snowballs into dangers which are lurking in real life. So this is kind of what Kavya is going through.
Right.
Yeah.
And I thought maybe we could touch upon this aspect of social media, where I found it a choice she makes is very interesting, because when other people are telling her to back down and say, hey, do not participate in that charade anymore, step back, she's saying, no, I'm not scared of them, and I will still go out, and they want me to be silent, so I will not be silent. And that seems like such a fine line to draw, right? 1 minute, on one side you're thinking, hey, they're affecting my agency to express myself. On the other, you're also thinking, but why do I need to constantly express myself to all these strangers who don't care about me anyway?
I don't think. I mean, I know that we all look at social media as a stage to speak on.
Yeah.
But it can also sometimes I have made anonymous accounts on Twitter.
You have?
Yeah, on threads, and just to like kind of mind dumping. You know what I'm saying? So even if no one's reading, I go and read those tweets, and I'm
Like
like,
a
wow,
diary.
so poetic, so beautiful. You're so funny, Shraddha. It's really like a diary, but it's not being spoken to, cater to an audience. Or at least that's not what Kavya looks at it as. She's saying it. And that's the thing about social media. It makes you believe that it gives you the platform. Now whether people are actually reading or not, but
Because I think, I was reading this post by actor Aishwarya Lakshmi recently. I
yes,
think,
yes,
where she said, hey, this was supposed to serve a purpose.
correct.
But at some point, it became the purpose. Right? It becomes the objective, and where this is supposed to be a tool,
Yeah,
instead of promoting yourself, you begin to tailor yourself towards it.
yeah, I agree with her.
It tends to take over on some level, right?
Yeah. I know that there are days when I dress up and I go out, and if not a single picture has been taken, I'm like, what a waste. Because and there
And
are
that's
times when
very sad to
I go to
process
my
it like
friends
that,
and I
no?
say, hey, listen, can you take a picture of me? My friend, like my manager told me that I don't put up enough pictures online. So it's this one small thought that I needn't have had, or could have happily just. It's not like I enjoyed the evening, but why was I left with a mildly bitter aftertaste of, damn, I should have taken that picture. I looked so nice today, should have taken a picture, sort of thing. So, but I really feel what Aishu said. I think she's off Instagram now, and it was a very, very interesting social experiment that she's on now.
It is, no?
Yeah, it is.
Mainly because you don't just randomly sacrifice millions of followers for no reason. Right?
Yeah.
Especially given the currency that it
Exactly,
holds in today's world.
Yeah.
Right. Let's go back to when you did U-Turn, right, in 2016. I remember it being a time, not just in, Kannada, but broadly, where all these stories seemed to be mushrooming, stories with women as protagonists, and it seemed like a very interesting time. It felt like we were on the cusp of something larger, where we could say all these stories about women and everything. What do you make of the scene today?
I feel these films are highly misunderstood.
How do you mean?
Misunderstood in the sense when someone says heroine centric. The thing is, women don't. It's not like I don't want these. I just want equal participation of both actor and actress. Give me a role in which the hero has something to do and I have an equal amount to do. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying give me a role, like a big role, and like the male, if there's an actor,
You're saying you don't need to make me the centerpiece of
you
it.
don't need to. We're not trying to prove a point, but what we're trying to say, of course, you can also look at it as, let's say I do a film as a solo lead, like let's say Loka. The fact that it made the hundreds of crores that it did, that's great. That's huge. That puts like, makes a statement, and it says that, like, you can cast Kalyani now and she can bring that money back, right? So she's a very bankable actor. So that's great. But also, I think as women, we're just tired of the extremities. It's either like men and their sumos and trucks flying, or it's only woman and, like dark makeup, like tanned makeup and like shot in the slums. I'm saying find a middle ground. Give us both work to do. And there's so many actors and actresses would be, willing to participate in a collaborative.
Understood.
Yeah.
And invariably with these stories, right? And I'm trying to understand it. I'm not really trying to be critical of it. Invariably, you see such stories being centered on some level on, say, physical abuse or sexual abuse, typically. I think, the moment you decide to have a woman at the center of a story, invariably it does feel like it becomes about that. Do you suppose it's a reflection of how widespread it is that there are so many stories waiting to be told, or is that a way to also? Are you as a writer worried that, hey, people may not attach themselves to a woman easily, so let's make her worthy of sympathy and pity right off the bat?
I don't know. Is that generally something you've noticed about female oriented?
Yeah, because I don't think there are enough types of stories being told, I think. And it feels like if you list about 10 to 15 films that have a woman at the center, invariably you're going to have the majority of them speak about this particular issue.
Right.
And not to belittle the issue itself.
Sure.
But hey, I'm sure there are other things in a woman's life to be spoken about as well, I'm assuming, right? I mean, we have so many varieties of...
Oh, interesting. I haven't given much thought to this, but...
Okay. And part of it also came about because I was watching this series as well, and it does step into a lot of those zones
right,
too.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah,
it does.
Yeah.
I think if there is sexual abuse, and the woman herself is fighting, or seeking whatever, revenge or redemption, whatever, I'd rather her do it than a man do it for her.
Fair enough.
Right?
Yeah.
And if you're talking about, let's say, an action role, I'm okay with these stories, to be honest. Something that you pointed out. I'm okay with these stories. It doesn't occur to me as, oh, you're using these as tools to sell your stories. Like I watched Bad Girl the other day. And it was so relatable. I mean, it was relatable at a certain level, just not the socio-economic background, but just the mother-daughter and the essence of how your mother was raised a certain way. So she tried to do better and raise you a certain way, but it was still not good enough for you, sort of thing. So,
Yeah. While on this topic, it's hard not to bring up another film that you were part of, Nerkonda Parvai, obviously.
Yeah.
Which did get into those spaces, being a remake of Pink that it was and everything.
Yes.
What did you make of that experience and how it was received?
I felt that it was a bit... I later realized that it was a bit much for the audience that it was made of, perhaps.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I mean, there was so much... what do you call it? Hype and so many discussions about, but why was that girl even drinking? What was she even thinking? Right? And I realized that, you can't just simply make a film about no is no means no, but you really need to go at ground level and try and, try and understand where this kind of regressive thinking comes from. So sometimes even the biggest names cannot really try and propagate a noble message like, consent or things like that, or women's right to dressing, speech, or the lifestyle that she chooses.
So we've got to what? Further make her worthy of affection by following.
I don't understand.
No, so you've got to what? Make that woman.
Right. She needs to be her practices need to
Really
be approved,
right.
and
Yeah. That's
She
what I'm
need
saying. Yeah, she needs to be worthy of my sympathy, my
Yeah,
affection for
exactly.
her, and that will only come if she does a series
does a
of these
certain,
things.
and yet if
which is-
she gets into trouble,
which is the point of
then-
the film
Correct,
itself.
Exactly. Which
Yeah.
completely missed the audience. The audience has missed it.
Yeah.
Yeah, still grateful to have been a part of it. Felt like it was a feather in my cap.
For sure.
But yeah, just it's unfortunate that sometimes even a medium like film can't really do much. Like it can't really serve up a revolution, or
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I like to think it did its
maybe
job
it
in its
started
own
a
little way,
dialogue.
hopefully.
Yeah. If some people saw some interviews and got angered by what someone was saying, I think that itself is a win. Yeah.
Do you wish that there were angles about your life that were represented in films? Not yours as in specifically privately yours, but I mean from your understanding of a woman's experience in society, that you feel like, hey, we never really dig into these spaces, and maybe there's an opportunity here to do that.
I think our mothers don't get represented enough. Yeah. I think their stories
How
and
fascinating you should say that, given all the mothers in our films.
yeah, but we don't talk about their repressed desires and their dreams and the kind of potential that they all had and have, and what we could do with it. And imagine living a life for others, but not really, Like my mom's dream is to drive a car. It's her greatest
Still?
dream. It still is. She just wants, and what is it? It's to be independent, right? That's the larger. She wants to be, and I remember as a child, growing up, she would always tell us like, always be financially independent. Do not depend on a man for money. So you know what it says, right? A deeper thing of the shame not the shame you experience, but you want to not have to ask.
No, it's wise not to have to depend on another person for survival.
Absolutely. So I feel like mother's stories need to be told more.
Has she learned to drive?
She tried a long time ago, and my dad was a really bad driver. And now she's just like, nah, now
Given
I
up
can't do
now?
it. I think I'll still somehow get a scooty car for her, automatic. And
Nice.
yeah, maybe.
And obviously in this film, I remember catching visuals of you riding a bullet.
Yeah.
Was it?
That
Yeah.
was me.
That was you. Yeah.
Yeah. It was part of the script, and I had no. And it wasn't asked of me, Shraddha, do you ride a bike? So I thought it was not crucial to the script that he rides a bike, and I didn't really take any action on it also. And
Oh, you
then
didn't know how to earlier?
I know how to ride a gearless bike, but not the heavy geared bikes.
That would have been frightening for sure, right?
It was, and you're riding with traffic, and there are turns to take, and you need to know exactly how to bring the gear down and things like that. It
Yeah.
was quite nerve wracking, but also it was interesting. I enjoyed it.
Now
I
you can.
kind of learned it, and
Or did
I
you
could
guys
a
cheat?
year ago. Now I've lost touch again until the next film comes along where I have to ride. Yeah.
There was a very nice space that I thought you hit, where you were talking about how driving equals independence in a sense, right? Which allows you to be mobile, to explore the world in your own terms,
Yeah.
in your own private space as well, right? Do you want to talk to me about what it has given you in terms of being able to drive, and when you started this, and how it probably added layers to who you were as a person?
Now my dad, I saw my mom not knowing how to drive growing up, and of course she either depended on her dad driving her on the scooty or in the car, or she depended on one of us. And if we ever had to say, "Mom, I'm so lazy," or "Sorry, I don't have time," her plans would just drop, right? This is back when let's say cabs were not easily available, or things like that. So imagining altering your plans for the day because there's no one else to take you, sort of thing. That sort of that still, I mean, it bothers me. It bothers me that someone should be dependent on Also, for me, driving was another. I think I was just seeking validation from my dad. He's an excellent driver, and he's just one of those guys who
Don't we all?
So I'm definitely. He believes that he was born to educate people on how to drive.
Really?
He'll roll down the window and say, "Never mind." And then when he rolls it back up, we're like, "Dad, you have changed his life, and he'll never make this mistake again. He's so afraid of you right now." But yeah, so I learned to drive, I think, at a very young age. Been learning to drive since the age of 14 on like empty roads, empty plot. And
Did you undertake a solo journey sometime?
No, I haven't.
Something you want to do? Or
Something I definitely want to do. I don't think I have the confidence enough to drive on highways just by myself.
No?
But that's like you said, that's a challenge I want to take up for myself. And that again gives me that sense of freedom of if I have a car and I know how to drive, I should be able to drive out whenever without having to explain to anyone. But yeah.
One of the things, obviously, because we were talking about social media earlier, I found it very interesting that a clip of your characters from many, many years back surfaces again, right, in this series. And that causes her some agony. A small video recording that
Right.
surfaces from out of the blue and everything.
Yeah.
And it got me wondering, especially because it rings very relevant to our times today, where if a mistake or what can be perceived as a mistake was committed like many, many years back when you were a different person potentially,
Yes.
you are never allowed to move on from it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. And you're not even allowed to say that was a different me. I'm in a different space now, and I hold different opinions now, or I don't believe the same things today. It's set in stone. Anything you said, anything you did, and it's unbelievable how screenshots can be taken and screen recordings can be taken.
Yeah. And most often, I think it's a surprise to the very people who
Yeah.
the clip is about.
Exactly.
Because sometimes this Facebook and all of these apps, right, they serve up memories of 6 years back, 7 years back.
Yeah.
And I look at some of the things I might have written back then. I'm like,
Yeah.
what is this?
Yeah.
Delete it right now.
Absolutely. I remember a long time back, I was still in college, so 19, 20, I think, and my understanding of politics was so different, right?
course.
Very, very polarized. I mean, it's always like very extreme, right? And I had written something on Facebook, and my uncle, who lives in Canada, so he's more like very progressive, that kind of uncle. He said, I think you should delete this because you don't know when it'll come and bite you back, sort of thing. And I did delete it, but I understand it now. I was a nobody then. I was just a college going student, law student then. But it's so true today. Like imagine being someone famous and saying something,
Yeah.
and years later you're just
It
like
comes back to,
material for cancellation or
I know.
material for
Yeah, and it's very unfair because I think we all keep dying and keep being reborn every single day pretty much.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
So it feels like, hey, why are you holding me accountable for? I mean,
Yeah.
we're obviously not talking about crimes and all of
No,
that.
no.
Because I'm sure somebody will watch this and stretch it to the very extremes.
Sure. It's thoughts and opinions.
Yeah,
Which
yeah.
keep changing all the time.
Yeah.
And who are we if we are the same person all our life? Like, then you've had no growth, you've had no exposure to the real world, you've not had any conversations with people that change your mind, or you have no curiosity to change or to learn new things. So,
Yeah. And it's in fact heartening, I think, when you look back at a version of yourself and you're judging yourself for being that.
yeah.
Which hopefully signifies that some growth has occurred in the meantime.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Does that happen to you when you revisit your performances in films?
Performances, yes. Some of them.
Yeah.
Clothes also.
I like how clothes always make an appearance here and there in this conversation. Yeah. Drishyam hit a very interesting space as well. And that's a kind of space that the series hits as well. Where, hey, if you're blackmailed with, I don't know, some private information, some information about you that somebody has, what do you do? Especially when you're feeling all vulnerable and alone and without support and all that. And increasingly, I'm sure this is not going to go away because a lot of us keeps getting registered on the internet, right? What would be your advice to someone who comes to you and says, hey, they're holding me ransom with this private information. How should I feel about it? I feel awful about it.
I think being in, knowing that the laws in our country are not, sort of, um, haven't, what do you call it? Unstrong enough, or just not. There's not enough thought that's being put in towards cyber crimes or, this entire realm of things where you could be taking advantage of other people. I feel sorry. I feel helpless as a woman. I feel like there's more progress happening in ways in which you can scam people and not enough progress happening in ways in which you could stop these crimes from happening.
I know
So
what you mean.
yeah. I think we all just have to be ultra careful. And AI is not helping things in particularly also.
I know, right?
Deep
Yeah.
fakes and.
When did I do that? Like, you didn't do it.
Exactly. It's just so seamlessly made nowadays.
But I like what your character tells her in this series. Though you say it's not your fault,
Right.
right? And
Yeah.
and therein lies, I think, some sense of catharsis, right? When people are told that it's okay, go easy on yourself. And I remember being dearly moved by this line in Good Will Hunting, I think, right, where Matt Damon's coming there and he's just looking at Robin Williams is looking at him and he's saying it's not your fault. It's not your fault, and he keeps repeating that over and over and over again.
This is after the entire scene when the match, he describes the entire match and
Correct. And he's like, at the first time he hears it, he's like, it's not your fault. And he's like, yeah, I know it's not my fault. And all of
Right.
that. And he keeps saying that till it really
Oh,
goes deep with
beautiful
him.
scene.
It is, no?
Yeah. And you're right. It is. There are too many things that are not in our control to let yourself to sort of villainize yourself and take just feel responsibility for it.
But did you all start making the series before Adolescence came out?
Yes.
You did. Okay. Because I thought I could spot a lot of parallels there as well. And I wondered if, not in terms of the craft and everything, obviously, but I mean in terms of the spaces that it hits, right? The toxic masculinity and inability to handle a woman, even if successful or otherwise.
Right.
How it percolates into a culture of, this brotherhood, right, in a sense.
Although adolescence goes into it a lot deeper.
It does, no?
Yeah. And a lot of. I remember looking up all these terminologies and the book that writes about.
All of that,
Yeah,
no? Yeah,
toxic
yeah.
masculinity afterwards. But no, to answer your question, we shot it before. In fact, it's been. I mean, we started shooting it in 2023, at the end of 23. And production took about 4 or 5 months, and then we've been in post-production since then. But yeah.
And a lot of it also boils down to how much phone use can you allow someone, right? Especially, I mean, do you have nephews, nieces?
I do. I have a niece.
Okay,
She's 12 years old.
So what do you... right.
Yeah, she does not have a phone of her own. She desperately wants one. And,
course.
It's funny. So immediately, she's not my child, but I do feel like a parent around her. And so I say, do you know when I got my phone? I was, and I start sounding like my own parents. Do you know how we used to go to school? Things like that. So
Does not work, no?
It does not work. And I keep reminding myself, I think I'm an excellent aunt. I keep reminding myself that you really need to be their ally. You need to just put yourself in their shoes, and put yourself in the same situation, same context. And I imagine Shraddha growing up in 2025, she's 12 years old. She wants a phone. What do you do? Sort of thing. So it's a very scary time to be in charge of a child, to be responsible for a child. I feel like the world is not getting any better. There's and social media it's such a sort of sinkhole. We're trying to protect our female children, boy children. I mean, but yeah, I think we just need to. I think if we make it abundantly clear that mistakes happen, we are on your side. It's
Absolutely,
okay.
yeah.
Create that safe space for them to come and confide in you, and teach them. It's not social media itself. It's it's these people. There are certain perils, as long as you can, if you're smart enough about it, or if you sense something fishy, come and tell us.
I
sort
love
of
that.
thing.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
I
yeah.
think that's really important. And know that a child will be curious. This is their age to be curious.
Yeah, because
And
I think it's impossible to prevent them from ever getting into icky
yeah.
spaces.
Yeah,
for sure.
absolutely,
Right?
absolutely. You and I, we've grown out of teenagehood. We're now adults. We got into our own little mess, but we came
for
out
sure,
of it.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
and every child will get into mess, like their own kind of little messes. But yeah, you just need to guide them from afar and not micromanage.
Yeah, it's pretty much
things.
what I try to do with my niece as well. Pretty
Right.
much. She's about 15.
Really.
Yeah. Pretty
Yeah.
much tell her that come talk anytime.
Exactly.
You will not be judged.
Exactly. I say it so often. But yeah, it's the favorite role I play personally for me, to be an aunt.
Better than a mom, I think, on some level.
100%.
Right?
100%.
You get only the
Maximum-
best experiences.
You get the best experiences. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. Maybe as a final question, I like that be it Irugapatru or this, you get into these difficult marital spaces as well, right? And it's not where you can easily assign blame to one party or another and say they were to be blamed. Now they come and seek forgiveness or whatever. It's not that. It seems to also talk about a space where, and I think this also forms a significant majority of separations and everything, right? Where two well-meaning people probably suffer from not really understanding each other with their insecurities.
Yeah.
Not. And I thought these were important spaces to make films and series of.
Right. I'm glad they're being written about. I'm glad I get to play these parts. Also, I really am fascinated by relationships. I'm fascinated by the amount of work relationships take. Growing up, we feel that you just need to find the right person and then everything's
I know.
fine.
Yeah.
But you need to be the right person every day. They need to do their best to be the right person every day.
And nobody prepares you for how it's constantly changing. Right?
Constantly, yeah. And there's a lot of, drop your ego, apologize, and know that the ultimate goal is to, fix the problem, not like, whatever, blame the other person, things like that. I feel like it's quite rewarding also to be in a relationship where there is work being done by both people. When you both...
Saves you from monotony for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are there any films or web series that you particularly enjoyed that delved into marital complexity and all of that?
What was that film with Scarlett Johansson and Adam
Driver.
Driver?
Yeah.
Marriage Story?
Marriage Story.
Was it Marriage Story?
Yeah, it was. Correct.
There was that which I really liked. There was also that film with, the Zero Dark 30 actress. And I'm forgetting the name. I'm really bad with names.
Never mind. We did well with Marriage Story, I think.
Right. That was an easy one to come up with.
I know, right?
Yeah.
For some reason, I remember... Did you watch Fabelmans, Spielberg's film?
No, not yet.
You didn't?
No.
Okay. I thought it got into some really gorgeous, complex
Really?
spaces. Yeah.
Fabelmans.
The Fabelmans, yeah, which is
Okay.
a story about Spielberg made by him, about his childhood and how his parents went through a tough time and all of that.
Okay.
So yeah, for anybody watching this, absolutely actively recommend it, because it does not reduce anyone to be a sinner, and even though some difficult spaces are spoken about. But I think we touched upon a lot of difficult spaces as well.
Yeah.
And you were such a sport, and I really enjoyed this conversation.
Thank you, Sudhir. Thank you so much.
Thank you for this, and may you continue to be part of all these interesting stories
Yeah.
and interesting films.
Yeah. I hope you do too. Continue to chat with interesting people.
Thank you.
Counting myself as one of them.
Oh, for sure.
Thank
And
you.
I wish you the very best with the Netflix series as well.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.